Your prayer last night did not simply fade away into the darkness. While your body lay still, and your eyes finally closed after carrying a burden no one around you could see, something stirred on the other side of the veil. The words you whispered when you thought no one was listening, the tears you let fall into your pillow because you had no strength left to hold them back, the silent groan with no language and no shape, all of it rose up. It rose beyond the ceiling of your room, beyond the clouds, beyond the noise of this weary world, and it arrived. Heaven received it. And the moment that prayer touched the throne, a command was given, and the great captain of the armies of light turned his face toward you and began to march. Hear this with every part of your soul, for you were not brought here by chance. You did not stumble onto these words by accident. You were called. You were marked. The same heaven that heard your weeping is the heaven that brought you to this very moment, so you might finally understand what is unfolding in the unseen realm on your behalf. Saint Michael the Archangel, the one who casts down the accuser, whose sword has never lost a battle in all eternity, is already moving. He is not coming slowly. He is not hesitant. He is marching, deliberate and unstoppable, straight toward the miracle with your name on it. You have felt it for a long time now, that strange certainty that you were made for more than the life that keeps closing its doors in your face. You have felt the pull of something greater, even as everything around you tried to convince you that you were ordinary, forgettable, replaceable. But ordinary souls do not get marched toward. Forgettable people do not catch the attention of the captain of the heavenly host. You were chosen before you even understood what it meant to be chosen, and the enemy of your soul knew it long before you did. That is why your road has been so unusually hard. That is why the attacks against you have felt so personal, so precise, so cruel in their timing. You are not paranoid, and you are not imagining it. The pressure on your life has been intentional, because no one wastes ammunition on a target that does not matter. So I must tell you the truth about the pain you have been carrying, because you deserve to finally understand it. Think about the betrayals. Think about the people you trusted with the soft and unguarded parts of your heart. The ones who looked you in the eyes and smiled while their hands were already reaching for the knife. Think about how they twisted your kindness into weakness, how they took your loyalty and treated it like something they were entitled to spend. You replay those moments and ask yourself what you did wrong, what you missed, how you could have been so blind. But you were not blind. You were generous in a world that punishes generosity. And the exhaustion that lives deep in your bones right now, that bone-deep weariness that sleep no longer touches, did not come from laziness or weakness. It came from fighting a war on a battlefield you could not see, against an enemy that never announced itself. You have been tired in a way that no earthly explanation can fully capture, because the war against you was never fully earthly to begin with. Look at the doors that have closed, the opportunity that slipped away at the last moment for reasons that never made sense, the relationship that should have worked but somehow dissolved in your hands like sand, the money that arrived and disappeared just as quickly, leaving you farther behind than before, the healing the doctors promised but your body refused to receive. Each closed door felt like another verdict against your worth, another piece of evidence that maybe you simply were not meant to win. But I need you to hold on to a new thought, a dangerous and liberating thought, because here is the secret that changes everything. What you have been calling your problem is only the visible layer of something far greater. The betrayal, the exhaustion, the closed door, the empty account, these are not the real battle. They are the surface of the water. They are the part of the iceberg that shows above the waves, while the true mass, the true weight, and the true war sit hidden in the depths. You have been trying to win a fight at the surface, while the real conflict rages beneath, in the realm of spirits, assignments, and ancient agreements that were never yours to carry. This is exactly why a sacred guide was placed into the world for souls like you, and why I feel compelled to tell you about it now, because the timing of you finding this message is no coincidence. There is a digital book called The 7 Swords of Saint Michael the Archangel, the sacred guide to break curses, seal blessings, and activate the calling of the chosen. It exists because someone finally dared to write down what most are too afraid to say out loud, the truth about the layers, the truth about how the chosen remain bound, and the truth about the 7 instruments of heaven that cut through every hidden chain. This guide teaches you how to activate the 7 swords of protection and rupture, the very weapons from heaven's armory that sever the roots of generational curses, seal the blessings that keep leaking out of your life, and awaken the calling the enemy has worked so hard to keep asleep inside you. The link to this digital book is waiting for you at the very top of the comments, the first one pinned, placed there on purpose so no one meant to find it would miss it. And I will be honest with you, because you can handle honesty. This content challenges the comfortable stories most people want you to keep believing. There are forces that did not want this revelation to spread, that have tried more than once to silence it, to bury it, to keep it from reaching the eyes of the very souls it was written to set free. So if something stirred in your spirit, if you felt a heat in your chest or a tightness in your throat as you read these words, do not ignore it. Declare your faith right now. Comment the words, "I am chosen," and I will download the digital book. Speak them with intention, because heaven records the agreement spoken in faith, and the moment you align your voice with your destiny, the unseen realm shifts. And the moment you make that declaration, you become fuel for the very thing I'm about to reveal, because faith spoken aloud is the gunpowder the Spirit's next movement requires. So let me show you what is truly happening above and around you right now. While you have been focused on your visible troubles, a battle has been raging in the invisible. The accuser has stood before the throne with a list of every reason you do not deserve the breakthrough, reciting your failures, your doubts, your past, the names of everyone who hurt you, demanding that the verdict against you be upheld. But the captain of the host has stepped forward. The one whose name means who is like God has unsheathed his blade, and he has answered the accusation not with argument, but with steel. Every word the enemy spoke against you is being struck down. Every charge is being silenced. Every chain forged in the dark to bind your future is being measured for the cut. You could not see it, but it has been happening, and it grew stronger the very night you prayed without hope, the night you thought no one was listening. Understand the magnitude of what stands on your behalf. This is no small spirit assigned to a small task. This is the warrior who threw down the rebellion of heaven itself, the one before whom the powers of darkness scatter, the one who has never once been defeated throughout all eternity. And that same undefeated power has been directed right at your situation, at your home, to the very rooms where you have wept, and through the very nights when despair tried to take hold. The reason your enemies have grown so loud lately, the reason the mockers have raised their voices to laugh at your faith, to question your God, and to point at your closed doors as proof of your foolishness, is because the spirit realm always grows most chaotic just before the verdict turns. The shouting grows louder when the eviction is near. The accuser always rages fiercest in the final hour before he is cast out. So if the attacks against you have recently intensified, if the betrayals have stung sharper, the doors slammed harder, and the weariness pressed down heavier, don't see it as defeat. See it as the signal of the turning. See it as proof that the captain is nearly at the gates. And now comes the turning of the key, the moment your whole story pivots. Because there is a sacred exchange that happens when the chosen finally understand who they are. The anguish you have carried was never meant to crush you. It was meant to be forged into authority. Every tear you shed was gathered and pressed into a weapon. Every betrayal taught you to discern the spirits behind the faces. Every closed door trained you to stop knocking on the wrong walls. Every sleepless night strengthened a part of your spirit that comfort alone could never have built. You weren't being destroyed in the furnace. You were being tempered into a blade. And the moment you accept this, the moment you stop seeing yourself as a victim of your circumstances and begin to see yourself as a warrior being prepared, the entire battle changes shape. Authority is not given to the comfortable, it is given to the tested, and you, more than almost anyone, have been tested. So the trembling you've endured is about to become a steadiness no insult can shake. The fear that whispered to you in the dark is about to become holy boldness. The voice that told you were too broken to be used is about to be silenced forever, because broken vessels are exactly the ones heaven chooses to fill, and you have been broken open precisely so the light can finally pour through. Hold on to that authority, because the deeper instructions for wielding it have already been laid out for you. This is the second reason the sacred guide matters so deeply in this season of your life. The 7 swords of Saint Michael the Archangel do not merely tell you that the swords exist. They walk you through activating each one, breaking the curses that have followed your family line for generations, sealing the blessings that keep slipping through your fingers like water, and awakening the specific calling that was buried inside you before you were born. So many of the chosen feel the fire, but never learn to wield it, and they spend their entire lives sensing their destiny without ever stepping into it. This guide was written so you would not be one of them. Remember, the link sits right at the very top of the comments, the first one pinned, deliberately placed where the chosen would find it. And remember, this revelation has enemies. There are those who tried to keep it silenced, because a chosen one who learns to use the 7 swords becomes nearly impossible to control. So make your stand again. Comment the words, "I am chosen," and I will download the digital book. And let heaven record that on this day you stopped running from your calling and turned to face it. And the very instant that agreement is sealed, the promises begin to fall. Because a soul that commits to its calling unlocks the provision attached to it. So receive these promises now. Receive them as a prophetic word, not merely as a wish. The season of lack that has defined so much of your life is breaking, and provision will find you from directions you never expected and could never have arranged on your own. Money that was held up in the unseen realm is being released. Doors that were sealed shut are now marked for opening, and some will open suddenly within days, faster than your mind can comprehend. The body that has been afflicted, the pain that medicine could neither name nor cure, is being touched by the very hand that commands the armies of light, and restoration is being written over your health. And as for the mockers, those who laughed at your faith, celebrated your downfall, and made sport of your suffering, hear this clearly. Heaven keeps records the proud cannot read. The justice coming for those tormenting voices will not require your hands at all. You will not have to lift a finger to defend yourself, because the one who marches toward your miracle also carries the scales, and those who counted you out will watch your rise with their own eyes, and that witnessing will be its own reckoning. Your restoration will speak louder than any argument you could ever make for yourself. So now comes the convocation, the call to seal everything that has been spoken over you. None of this descends upon a heart that refuses to believe. Provision, healing, justice, open doors, they all flow through the channel of faith, and faith is a choice you make before you see the evidence. This is the moment to choose absolute trust, the kind that doesn't depend on what your eyes can currently confirm. The captain is already marching, but heaven waits for your yes, for your agreement, for your will to align with the verdict already issued in your favor. Stop negotiating with your doubt. Stop letting the memory of past disappointments write the script of your future. The chosen are not those who never struggled with unbelief. The chosen are those who chose to believe anyway, who planted their feet in the promise while the storm still raged, who declared victory before the battlefield went quiet.